morning, family. Today is a fabulous Friday. It is April the 3rd, 2020, and we are going to continue our virtual learning in our virtual classroom. All right, so first I want to share the screen. Okay, from here, we're going to go to Google Classroom. All right, I'm going to work out of Michigan State today. Okay, so we're going to click classwork, and then the title is scientific method. Um, Same thing is in Chicago, classwork. Scroll down to scientific method, and it's Friday. Same thing as in Notre Dame. Go to classwork, scroll down to scientific method, and again, it is Friday. All right, so let's go to Michigan State today. I'm going to click classwork, scroll down, and scientific method, and we're going to click Friday. Let's go to the stream, and it will be the last assignment that I posted. And from here, all right, we're going to do our review. Um, Actually, yesterday I had some parents to reach out to me, and they were telling me that they were trying to play catch up because some of them just got access to the internet, some of them just got access to the classroom. And so today is just going to be a Fab vocab review in Quizlet. If you have not already completed your ReadWorks, I need you to complete that as well. And I did put the link right here. You would just log in with your Google password and username, and then the days of the week. So if we go back to, let's go back to the classroom. If we go back to the classroom and we go to classwork and we come down to scientific method, there were assignments posted every day. So Monday, the assignments and the brain pop, the YouTube video and the questions. And then on Tuesday, we did the scientific method flashcards and also the brain pop. And the video is in Class Dojo. And then Wednesday, again, we did the fabulous vocab, and we did ReadWorks. We had an science informational text, and we have quizzes, which is another app similar to Quizlet, but still different, and it's on a different platform. And then yesterday we looked at an experiment, or we conducted a mock investigation on Dubai, why it's so hot there, but then also how to make it rain by cloud seeding, and then the problem with cloud seeding. And then also reminded you to do the Quizlet, and if you had not completed the ReadWorks, complete the ReadWorks. And then today, like I said, yesterday, I had a couple parents that tell me that they just got access to the internet, and they were playing catch up. And so today is, I'm just doing the review. Also, we have the ReadWorks if you had not done it, and then I have a video. So without further ado, so I'm going to go back to the stream, and then from the stream, I'm going to click today's assignment, and we'll go to our vocab. Now, this is the link to join our 4th and 5th grade classroom in Quizlet if you have not already joined it. And you'll just click the link, and it will take you to the classroom. The vocabulary words that I want you to work on right now are the scientific method. And anytime we have new vocabulary words, I will add them here in our Quizlet so that we can work on them and practice them. Even when you have free time, you can download the Quizlet app. And from the Quizlet app, you can still access the cards. You can play the matching game, and you can also play the gravity game. You can play it live as well. So the vocabulary words, we've just been talking about the scientific method because I wanted to scale back just a little bit to get us familiar with scientific terminology. And when we do conduct investigations, going to move to trying to conduct an investigation at least once a week, maybe once every other week. It just depends on how long it takes to gather data and information, with the investigations. But we're going to move towards collecting information or doing an investigation possibly once a week. Okay? And so today we are working on the scientific method. And the scientific method is just what we use when we want to conduct an investigation about a problem. And so it's just a series of steps that scientists use to answer questions and to solve problems, right? And then those problems, we identify that there is a problem by making an observation. And so we make an observation with our five senses, right? And so a problem is just basically always in the form of a question. And it's the question that we're trying to answer by doing the experiment or the investigation. And remember, all investigations are not experiments, but every experiment is an investigation. We're trying to see what's going to happen. All right. And so next would be our hypothesis. Once we identify that there is a problem, then we formulate a hypothesis. A hypothesis is an educated, testable guess. It's a testable possible explanation to the problem, and it's usually in the form of an if-then question. So all week long, I've been using the scenario of growing green tomatoes because Miss Davis likes child relish, and I love fried green tomatoes. And so when I'm conducting an investigation, I'll formulate a hypothesis that if I'm planting tomatoes, and if I add fertilizer to the tomato plants, then there's a then the tomatoes will grow to be large and succulent. And so my hypothesis is if I add the fertilizer to my tomato plants, then my tomatoes will grow to be large and succulent. All right. And so after I form my hypothesis, I then have to think of the procedure that I'm going to take to test my hypothesis. And this is the plan for how I'm going to conduct my investigation or my experiment. All right. And then I will actually do my experiment if an experiment is required and not just an investigation, because sometimes you just gather a lot of research and a lot of data. But in this case, I would do an experiment. I would plant tomatoes in different pods, and I would add fertilizer to half of them, and then I would not add fertilizer to the other half of them. All right. And again, that's how we test our hypothesis. We may need to do this step more than once to see if the results are the same each time. All right, and my control group would be the group that I am putting the fertilizer in. So that would be my testing group. My control group would be the group that I'm not putting the fertilizer in. It's the group where everything pretty much stays the same. So I don't have fertilizer. I just have a regular amount, a standard amount of water, standard amount of sunlight. And I'm just using regular seeds. I'm using the seeds, and I'm using a certain pot. I'm not changing anything, even the same type of soil. All right. And then my independent variable, that would be in my experimental or my test group. And that would be the group where I put the fertilizer in. The independent variable would be the fertilizer. And so it is the cause. It's the factor in an experiment that the scientist purposely changes. And so from my control group, where everything is the same, in my experimental group, where I would have the independent variable, that independent variable would be the cause. Now the effect would be the dependent variable, and that's also in the experimental group. And that would be the thing that I'm measuring, the factor that changes as a result of the experiment or as a result of the independent variable. And so it would be the size of the tomato, it would be the color of the tomato, it'll be things that you can notice or things that you can record. All right, and then as I'm looking, as I'm concluding my investigation of my experiment, I'm going to record information. That information is the data So data is the information that you organize in the charts, tables, drawings, and diagrams. You can decide what the information means. And so when we do that, we are analyzing what the information means. All right. Um, and then we draw a conclusion. A conclusion, we're just wrapping it up. It's the answer to our question, a summary of what we have learned from the experiment. All right. Okay, it is what we have learned from the experiment. All right. And then we have our theory. Our theory is a scientifically acceptable general principle or body of principles offered to explain phenomena, right? So once we conduct our investigation and we decide whether or not our hypothesis has been testable and it's true and we've proven it right, then the hypothesis no longer is just a testable guess. It is actually a proven principle, a body of principles offered to explain a phenomena or something that happened. Okay, and so with the FAB vocab, after you review the vocab over and over again, you learn them, you learn how to spell them, then I wanted you to go to match, and that's just one of the games. Now, once you get acclimated with the spelling, then I want you to try the gravity. But in the meantime, I just want you to do the match. All right, so let's do the match. Okay. All right, so the way we play the game, again, is we take the vocabulary word and we place the word on top of the matching definition. And the quicker we do it, the better. My time went from 39.1 all the way to 25.8. I did have one scholar to beat my time, but we'll see if Miss Davis can beat her own this time. All right. That is a hypothesis. All right. Fact in science, the cause, that's the independent variable. Part of the experiment that does not contain a variable, that's the control group. The answer to the question. Oh, no, yep, okay, hold on. To test your hypothesis, experiment and procedure. All right, almost beat it, but that's okay. I will beat it. Oh, almost. So someone else, I think this is Asia. So Asia is close. She almost beat Miss Davis' time. So then I want you to just keep practicing the match game. I'm going to come off of it. I want you to keep practicing the match game. And those of you that have not completed the ReadWorks, I want you to go to the ReadWorks next. And from the ReadWorks, I want you to sign in using your student login. We'll pull this down. Use the student login, and you're going to log in with Google. You're going to log in with your Google username and password. And I'm not going to log in because it'll pull up people's grades, even as a student, because it's my account. And so let me close this one out. And then the last thing we have is this really awesome video, the fulfillment. So I found a video that was 4 easy slimes, and you can make these at home. It would just things that you can find around the house, but then some of the things you may have to actually go purchase. But it was a really, really fulfilling video, and it seemed like it was pretty kid friendly. So Without further ado, it's about 4 different kinds of slime. Yeah. I think my favorite would probably be the butter slime, like the butter slime.
DIY slimes, and I am so excited about this video. I'm still so obsessed with making slime, and I am so happy with how all these slimes turned out. They're so easy and fun to make. The four slimes that we're going to be making today are slimes that I've been wanting to try for so long, and I finally made them, and I thought it was so awesome to share them with you guys. And yeah, all these slimes are so much fun. I seriously love making slimes so much, and the slime that we made here is just such an awesome texture, and all the different colors. Subscribe button, and then whenever I upload a new video, you'll be able to see it. How cute is that little unicorn pillow back there? I just got it, and it is so funny. And he's got a rainbow horn, and he's just so adorable. So we have so many slimes to make today, so I think it's time to start. And yeah, let's start making slime. Then taking that baking soda mixture, just add it to the glue and mix it all together. And then the fun part is having to take any kind of glitter you can grab. Here I went with a lot of glue glitter because I wanted a really pretty blue slime. So I just added a bunch of different glitters and some glue slimes as well. And this just looks so magical and sparkly. I love the way that all the glues look together. So just mix the glue into the glue mixture, and it should look really glittery and pretty. And now to make this glitter mixture into slime, you're going to need some contact solution. So just add a little bit of contact solution at a time. You don't want to add too much, otherwise it can already slime the slime. I'm going to collaborate. So just add a little bit at a time and mix it together. And then once you have your line of brown mixture, you just need to go ahead and take it out of the bowl and start blending it with your hands, and then it will come together to make the perfect slime.
Okay, I'm going to stop there. Um, and I'm gonna let you guys just watch the video on your own. Um, okay, I'm gonna let you guys watch the video on your own. So if you have any questions, please just hit me up. I'm on Dojo and on Google Classroom. Every message that you send me, I get, and I can just respond to, no problem. You can also email me. That's it for today, and just have a wonderful day, promise. Bye.